Welcome. My name is Dr. Tim Becker. I'm with California Miramar University, and I'm going to be here to go through many of the high points of the marketing management class. And just to give you an idea where I'm coming from, I've got a doctorate in marketing, and also got my MBA, and I had a BA in German. I've had quite a number of years. I kind of have both real world and also academic expectations or training, both about 25 years on the academic side, teaching undergraduate and graduate programs, and then also about the same time there's quite a bit of overlap of work in the airlines and the consulting world, doing anything and everything about marketing, from new product development to advertising, research, sales and service. And presently I'm co-founder and president of a company called Total Recall Learning. And we make sure essentially that you remember what you're being trained. So without further ado, we'll get into some more of the chapter and the content material. Now, you might say, now in looking at marketing and the get, serve, keep, well, who's involved? Well, you have buyers and you have sellers. Those are the two primary players. All right, well, what do buyers have? Buyers have money. Well, who wants that? The sellers. So the buyers have money that the sellers want, but the sellers have products, services, or ideas that the buyers want. So they're willing to make that exchange. Buyers give the sellers money or something of value, and the sellers give the product, service, or idea. Now, which comes first? It depends on the company, depends on the players. Sometimes the companies come up with a product, a service, or idea that the buyers see and say, wow, I like that. I'll give you money for it. But that's ultimately what we're trying to do, to cause that marketing exchange to occur repeatedly on an ongoing basis. So buyers have money, give it to the sellers, sellers give the product back. And now, they might say, well, what's the relationship that you're looking for? In this case, you're looking that the buyer feels like they got the best deal. That, they are thrilled with the product, they're thrilled with the outcome, and that they would have, in their minds, would have paid more for it. The opposite side, the sellers, they think, man, they got a good deal. The buyer is paying a fair price, they're making money off it, they're making profit, and they would have actually sold it for less. That's the way you want to kind of look at it. So the buyer's thrilled, the seller's thrilled. That's the ideal situation. That's what's going to get you loyalty and repeat customers. Now, the other relationship might be where just that the buyers and the sellers, they're happy. The buyers like the product, okay? The sellers, yeah, they like doing business with the buyer. But they're not really ideally connected. And in this case, the buyers, while they're loyal to the product that the seller is providing, they're not in concrete. They're not cemented as a relationship. So oftentimes, if the buyer sees another product in another world, they may say, wow, I'm going to try that. So loyalty is a little bit lower than it is in the ideal setting. And so that's where the buyer and the sellers are happy. That's it. Now, where you really have trouble on occasion is where the buyers feel like they're getting ripped off, or they're not happy with the product or service, and also the sellers are saying that this buyer is way too much maintenance. They're having to spend too much time, too much customer service time. So they're having a real problem dealing with that customer. So oftentimes it's a bad relationship, and either the buyers will go to another supplier, or the suppliers, the sellers, will say, no, we're not going to do it anymore. No more doing business with this buyer. And that does in actuality occur. So you're trying to get to the situation where the buyers feel they are doing great, and that the sellers, they're thrilled too. That's the relationship you want to get. And that will continue to keep the repeat purchases and exchanges, products and services. Now, let's remember one thing. One of the realities of marketing and business in general is that all customers, or all companies, or all countries for that matter, are dealing with, or operating with limited resources. They only have so much money, so much time, so much land, resources, and so on. At the same time, they're in a world of unlimited choices. That is where they have many, many opportunities of how to spend their money, spend their resources. So think about it for yourself. You have a day to work with. So out of that 24-hour time period, you have a certain amount of sleep time, eat time, family time, play time, shall we say, but then also a certain amount of work time. You only have so much. You don't have 28 hours, you don't have 30 hours, and so on. Same thing with customers. They only have, let's say, $500. But there are many, many companies that are vying for or competing for those limited resources, that $500. So you as a marketer are one of those unlimited choices that a buyer has. Okay, they can choose from spending $500 on car insurance, on rent, on food, on entertainment, trips, whatever, but they only have one unit of 500. And there are many, many companies that want that. So you as a marketer, or as marketers have to deal with, they have to recognize the competition, but also work with how do we get that $500, for example, from the limited resources. So that's what we're trying to do on an ongoing basis. And what you'll find ultimately, and this is the world you have to operate in, that the dollar value of limited resources is less than the dollar value of the unlimited choices. So someone whose products get bought, they win. Someone whose products don't get bought, they lose. And that's significant. That's a big deal. So it's a battle. It's much like a soccer game, football game, or another game. Someone wins, someone loses. Some people, lots of the companies will lose. All right, let's take a look over, now that we have a feel for it. We're trying to cause the marketing exchange. We're operating in a world of limited resources and unlimited choices. Okay? So what do companies do to try to increase market share, increase revenue? Well, if you check in the book, and also just in business, you're looking at 4 opportunities, 4 strategies, you could say. And this is, you might call it the growth strategies, or the dealing with maximizing opportunities. Okay? So if you compare 2, 3 things, if you look at your product versus your market, okay? So what do you have to sell? What are your what's the product, service, or idea? But also what markets. So if you compare those on a chart, and you'll see in a PowerPoint slide, you have 4 opportunities. One is market penetration. Now, market penetration is when companies are sitting back and they're saying, okay, we have existing buyers. We need one of 2 things, either for them to buy more of the existing product. Okay, great. So if I'm buying toothpaste once a month, I buy it twice a month. Or for people who are not buying but that fit a characteristics in a market, you get more of those people. So now you're getting some new customers, but from within an existing target market. So great. So if you're going after 18 to 25-year-olds and you have 10% of them buying your product, now you're trying to get 15%. So that's market penetration. So you have an existing product with an existing market. That's usually the starting point, or the easiest one to help grow. Now you might say, okay, let's take a look at the existing product again, but go after a whole new market. So let's say, again, in the toothpaste market, you might want to go after an audience of senior citizens, people over 65. Great. So now that's called market development. It's a group you haven't gone after, you're not selling to, but you're dealing with the existing product. So the product doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the market you're going after. And then you have to appeal to them from a different perspective. So what's important to over 65-year-olds as compared to 18 and 25. So that's market development, new customers with an existing product. Now, let's flip that. Now let's stay on the product, but we make it a new product. So a whole nother product from an existing company, but also an existing client base. So what else could your customers buy from you, for example? Now, if you're familiar with WD-40, they're the ones that have the product that makes squeaks not squeak, and makes things, you help unrust things. Anyway, what they've done is they have WD-40, they went after new products. So they actually bought some other products, such as a 3-in-1 oil, lava soap, and what they do is they sell those products to their existing market. So now WD-40, when they sell to their existing customers, they may sell WD-40, but they may sell lava soap as well as 3-in-1 oil. all to the same customer. That's known as product development. 3M, who make the sticky notes and Scotch tape, but they also make all kinds of other products. And that's really what you want to do, is sell as much as you can to the existing customer. One last thing, if you take a new product, but do it to a new market, that's pretty risky. Okay, that's very risky. And there you have two options. The textbook will say you have diversification. That's where you're literally creating a whole new product for a whole new market. And so that's high cost. It takes a while to get established in terms of developing the product as well as developing the new market. What a lot of companies have been doing over the last 5-7 years especially, and this is going to continue, is they, instead of creating a new product and for a new market, they just buy a company and its products or services that's already been proven in that world. So they go after a new market and also a new product. Microsoft does this an awful lot. A lot of their products, they've just acquired a company that's been halfway successful, they've proven the concept, and move on. So what you're doing here, and we got to wrap up chapter 1, is take a look at all the growth strategies. You want to, again, get, serve, or keep customers at a profit repeatedly. You want to involve the marketing exchange, but what you have to do is, and this is what the whole course and all the chapters are going to be discussing, is having the right combination of what we'll call the marketing mix, the 4 Ps. And subsequent chapters will go into those in detail. So you want to get the right the price, the right product, the right place, how it's distributed, and the right promotion. So the right combination of those will lead you to the get, serve, keep, where everyone's happy.